Do you think that you've been making progress from the 90s? Like, obviously it's not linear. Like we know this,
No,
but
no.
do you think that that you've seen like progress from when, from the 90s to now, or have you seen, and nobody wants to admit this, but as you're getting older, has there been some regression in terms of muscle size? And I bring it up because I've had guys in their 50s, like we were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Jeff
yeah.
Alberts, Philip, Kyoshi, I haven't spoken to Marshall Johnson, but you get the point. The point is that these guys seem to be making progress as they're getting
And
older. So I don't
yeah,
know.
it's not always in the weight. Like Brett was talking about this on, I think even one of his stories this morning, when he was talking about it's a shift in the weight, and sometimes it's a shift in the density and the size and the way you look on stage. It's not always about where the weight goes. It's about the shift and the way you might actually be a little leaner. You might have a little more peak on your bicep. You might fill out your back a little wider. Things just kind of, it's a maturity thing that people talk about. You heard like maturity or muscle density, that you get older, because to me, the best natural competitors are usually in their low to mid 30s, the best ones. Where that seems like the most ideal age to me, where the top guys look their best. And and you can maintain that. And like I said, if you're a good competitor, you know how to progress, you know how to back off, as you get older, you got to be good with that as well. You can continue to do very well in these shows too. But this is where you take advantage of those Masters Pro shows. If you do, once you get over 40, even the over 50 classes too. It's not an easy, sell to keep up with some of the younger kids, but even some of the younger kids haven't even began to tap their potential. I just had a kid that he's only I think he's just over 30. He just did the Atlantic City OCB show and he won the whole show. It was his first show ever. And, you get spoiled like that sometimes when you win right away. It took me like 6, 7, 8 years to win my first pro card. And you just keep trying and battling and trying. And sometimes, it can be defeatist sometimes, but at the end of the day, he came in and had some ripped glutes and he just had some great muscle. And I just kind of took his stuff that he was doing and we organized his food, obviously, and we organized his training. And he wasn't ever deadlifting, and now I got him deadlifting, and now his glutes are shredded like Greg Trombley's.
So there's two things that we can elaborate there. The deadlifting thing, we'll put that on pause for a second. But what you had mentioned, okay, it's obviously individual specific, but you did say that mid to early 30s is kind of where you see natural bodybuilders, I guess you could say, peak, like in terms of their how they look, right? Like they
right.
Now, what I'm going to ask you is, of course, could it be argued that as you even approach 40s or mid 40s, that because you have more time, that you are essentially could be looking better than you did in your early 30s?
Yes, but it also depends on when you started. Sometimes people don't get started right away, and if they haven't, then their potential has still got a lot of room to grow. But if you've been doing this since a teenager, it's a lot tougher to kind of keep making improvements. And not that you can't, but it's going to be a lot less. The diminishing returns come around, and then but if you started in your 30s, there's still room to keep filling that ceiling, that the genetic ceiling that we talk about.
How did you find that it affected your upper body specifically when you started doing frequency twice per week, like directly? Like meaning you're doing a bicep, like you're doing a dumbbell. It doesn't have to be a dumbbell, but you're doing some form of elbow flexion directly to hit the elbow flexors twice a week, that kind of thing, right? Not overlap.